Welcome back, guys, to the Andrew Delish podcast. This is going to be a reality check number 14. Been a few times I didn't do a reality check, but let's get right into it. So, of course, the intro, the warning. No one loves and respects all human beings more than I do. I feel like I don't really have to say it anymore, but just in case. So, guys, right now I'm finishing my undergrad at U Ottawa, and I have to take one last class, and it's an elective class. So I can choose amongst many classes which have nothing to do with my particular program. So I chose feminism. And why? It's because it went well with my schedule. And why not? I just want to have some fun. But guys, I had like a couple of classes so far, and the things we see in that class, I mean, that's extreme feminism. What can I say about a class? Did I have something specified? Because, guys, the things I saw, I mean, I feel like an outsider. I feel like an enemy. But hey, you got to know your enemies, right? So did I have anything to say? Yeah, she showed us Euphoria. I don't know the TV show. If you guys know what the TV show is, Euphoria. It's gay. Why? I don't know. It's just gay. Like I saw a couple of clips that she showed us in the class. It's gay. So I'm not gonna watch it. I don't know why. It feels like it's high school drama. I don't really like TV shows that are high school drama. It's a bit like, I don't know. It's boring. So quick like that. But of course, since I'm taking this feminism class, I'm going to talk a little bit about some historical context on feminism in North America. So this is for North America only. So let's start with the United States. Because like it or not, I mean, many times on my reality checks, I have fun. I do jokes. I mean, I'm not against women. I'm not a anti-feminist. I am for feminism if it makes sense, if it's not in the extremes. Like I feel like my class is a bit in the extremes. But if it's normal feminism, like women having all the equal rights that men possess and have, I'm always going to be for that, of course, and I'm always going to be for empowering women, because women are, of course, as you guys know, equal to men. Sometimes maybe you can pull up some past clips of me, I don't really remember, saying something that seems sexist, but it was more just to be funny, and it's not how I actually think. And it's just, guys, it's satire comedy. But of course, like I said, like I mentioned many times, I am a real feminist. If it's not extreme feminism, if it's feminism meaning that women have the same rights and they're allowed to do the same things that men are allowed to do, and they have the same rights that men have, of course I'm going to be for that. So like I said in this class, let's do a little bit of historical context on feminism in North America. So in the United States, white women gained federal suffrage with the 19th Amendment in 1920. Black women legally gained the vote in 1920, but faced systemic voter suppression, which are poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation, especially in the South until the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So as you guys know, in America, since the beginning of American history, race always played a big part. White, black, Native American, Hispanic, whatever. But race, ethnicity always played a big part in America, in North America, but especially in the United States. So white women gained the right to vote at the same time as black women, but since they're white, they didn't suffer the same systemic voter oppression that black women face, which makes sense in the 1920s, especially in the South, in the southern states. So of course, with poll taxes, literacy tests, intimidation, and all of that. Native American women, they gained U.S. citizenship and thus voting rights with the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. But many states barred them from voting until as late as 1962. So in United States, in North America, Native women on paper had the right to vote in 1924, but many states didn't allow it. So fully across all 50 states in America, Native American women were allowed to vote in 1962. Man, that's not even 100 years ago. Latino women, Hispanic women face similar obstacles, language barriers, and poll taxes limited access until the 1965 Voting Rights Act and later amendments. Some other civil rights regarding women in the United States. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII, prohibited discrimination on the basis of sex and employment. There's also the Equal Credit Opportunity Act in 1974, which gave women the right to open a bank account or get credit without a male cosigner. Then in 1978, there's the Pregnancy Discrimination Act, which protected pregnant women in the workplace. In 1994, there's the Violence Against Women Act, which recognized domestic violence as a federal issue. In Canada, very similar, a bit different. It's very similar countries, but still, Canada is its own country. America is its own country. So in Canada, voting rights. White women first gained provincial suffrage in Manitoba in 1916, and then federally across all 10 provinces and across all territories in 1918. And Indigenous women in Canada could not vote in federal elections until 1960 unless they gave up their Indian status under the Indian Act. So before 1960, if an Indigenous Native American woman wanted to vote regarding federal elections, she had to give up her Indian status and become white, or in other words, a Canadian citizen. And then after 1960, even if she kept her Indian status or her Native American status, she could vote. Asian Canadian women faced many voting bans until the late 1940s, when Chinese and South Asian Canadians gained the franchise in 1947 and Japanese Canadians in 1948. Other civil rights regarding women in Canada, the Royal Commission on the Status of Women in 1970 catalyzed reforms in employment, education, and healthcare. Then in 1977, there's the Canadian Human Rights Act, which prohibited sex-based discrimination. In 1982, there's the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, solidified equality rights, including Section 15, which guarantees equality before the law regardless of sex. So my thoughts on feminism throughout phases. As you guys know, many sociologists in North America categorized feminism through many phases across history. Like I said, in my opinion, feminism, how I see it, like I said in the beginning of the episode, should women have all the same rights that men have? Yes. Should they have all the equalities of outcome if they put in the same effort as a man does? Yes. I'm for all of that. If black on white, on paper, it's written that all women have the same rights and the same laws regarding whatever in that country as men have, I am for that. So now let's talk about the different phases of feminism throughout history. Let me pull up my PDF file. Which one is it? This one, no, Conclave, New York Times. Historical context of feminism in North America. So the first wave, according to many researchers and social scientists, many people who studied this phenomenon, the first wave was from mid-19th century to early 20th century. The focus was mainly on legal rights and suffrage. United States, it emerged from abolitionists and temperance movements. Seneca Falls Convention in 1848 launched the women's right movement, which resulted in the 19th Amendment in 1920, which granted women the right to vote. In Canada, for again, the first wave, it's tied to the temperance and social reform. The famous five led the Pearson case, which was in 1929. Women gained federal suffrage in 1918, earlier in some provinces. Limitations regarding this phase were largely excluded Indigenous, Black, and immigrant women. The second wave of feminism is from 1960s and all the way until the 1980s. The focus was mostly on legal equality, workplace rights, reproductive freedom, and gender roles. Triggered by post-World War II domesticity and civil rights momentum. So as you guys know, in World War II, men went to war, they went to fight, so women stayed. And since women stayed, all these companies, which have prior to the war had many male employees, but those companies still needed to run and to function, right? So since all the men were away at war in Europe, they had to employ women. And since women saw their power because all the men were gone, that's where this second phase of feminism came more into play. So the focus was mostly on legal equality, workplace rights, reproductive freedom, and gender roles. Triggered by, like I said, World War II domesticity and civil rights momentum. Influential works by Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, which was written in 1963. Many organizations, and in the US it was NOW, and in Canada it was the NAC. Legal gains, Title VII US Roe versus Wade 1973, and the Royal Commission in Canada. Critiques regarding this phase in feminism was lack of intersectionality, rise of Black, indigenous, and working class feminisms. The third wave was considered to be in the 1990s all the way until the 2000s. Focus was mainly in identity politics, intersectionality, and cultural representation. In my opinion, this is how I see it. Once everything was written down on paper, that women have all the rights, all the same rights that men have. I mean, what more do you want? You cannot really ever change society's perception. The most you can do is write on paper and put it legal for women to have the same rights as men. After that, if a man still wants to see a woman as inferior to a man, in my opinion, we're equal. Even maybe women are superior to men a little bit because they suffer more. But what more do you want? Once everything is put on paper that we're all equal, I mean, there's not really anything you can change. Now, of course, you can maybe try to push an agenda that society changes its perception, but you'll never truly change it, because even now in 2025, we still have sexists, we still have people who are homophobic, who are racist or whatever. You can say that I'm more racist, sexist, and homophobic when it comes to making jokes. In reality, I am not. I mean, I am for equality for everyone, for all of us to be equal, have the same rights, whatever. But some people truly are sexist, racist, or homophobic, even to this day. But on paper, North America isn't. So can we truly change how perception of society and how people will view minorities regarding sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, gender, whatever? I don't know. I think, in my opinion, I hate to say it, but I think that there's always going to be sexism, racism, whatever. So, but hey, maybe helping to change that can maybe affect something. I don't know. Doesn't change the fact that there are many differences between men and women. Like I said, we're equal, but we are different, in my opinion. All men and women are equal, but we're different, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, after the second wave, I feel like it's a bit useless, feminism, when it comes to, identity politics, intersectionality, cultural representation, like having more women in movies, having more Black people on movies, or Black people getting more represented in modeling gigs or acting gigs or whatever. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but in my opinion, once everything was written down on paper that we're all equal, I mean, it should stop there. I mean, what more do you guys want? So it was mostly, this third wave was mostly influenced by postmodernism and critical race theory. It advocated for LGBTQ plus inclusion and diverse voices. The key thinkers for this phase were Bell Hooks, Judith Butler, and Audre Lorde. Canadian feminists emphasized decolonial and indigenous frameworks. The fourth wave and last wave so far, maybe there's going to be a fifth wave probably, but I don't know why there would be a fifth wave, which is focused more on digital feminism, #, like the #MeToo movement, trans rights, and intersectionality justice. Mostly driven by social media and grassroots mobilization. I forgot to mention, but it's from the 2010s until present day, the fourth wave. And also it emphasizes reproductive justice, anti-carceral approaches, and critiques of neoliberal feminism. Cross-cutting themes, intersectionality is more regarding race, class, sexuality, and ability. Indigenous feminism is more regarding land, sovereignty, and anti-colonial struggle. Queer and trans feminism, which is mostly gender diversity and rights. Abolitionist feminism, opposition to carceral state and structural violence. So this is all the phases of feminism in the lens of many social scientists, social thinkers, sociologists, psychologists, economists, social scientists in general. So yeah, like I said, in my opinion, Once everything is written down on paper that we're all equal regarding your gender, your race, your sexual orientation, your social background, your social economic background, your ethnicity background, ethnical background. I mean, what more do you want? Of course, like I said, there's always going to be racist, homophobics, sexist, whatever. But you cannot ever change that. And I think that until human beings exist, those negative things will always exist. So recently, there was a big TV show on Netflix. It's called Adolescence. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's regarding a teenager, 12 years old, 13 years old, I think. And he kills, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to spoil it. I don't care. He kills a little girl who's also around the same age as him. And now it's all about like, it's like a sociological TV show regarding Andrew Tate's influence on masculinity, regarding toxic masculinity, regarding social media and social media usage amongst young students in today's day and age in 2025. And then in that TV show, they referenced Andrew Tate, which is kind of crazy. I mean, Andrew Tate's influence is so big nowadays that even in TV shows, they're referencing him. And even if I might add, I had a feminism class today, and we talked about Andrew Tate. A university class in Ottawa, Canada, North America, talking about Andrew Tate just shows, hate him or love him, you gotta admit that his influence is crazy and that he's very influential. Now, of course, is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's not all black or white. We can dissect it maybe on another episode or with someone else. But we cannot deny the fact that his influence and his popularity amongst young guys, young students, amongst worldwide population is very huge. So to get back to the TV show, they talked about Andrew Tate. In my opinion, how I see it, not everything that Andrew Tate says is good and positive. In my opinion, I find him very, very funny. He's hilarious. He's very, very funny. He does the same type of comedy that I do. So that's why I really love his comedy. I feel like sometimes he plays a role, but sometimes he really says what he really thinks most of the time. So it's like a mix of both. He says a joke, but behind a joke, there's some truth to it. That's why it's funny, because if a joke doesn't have some truth behind it, it can never be funny, right? So, Andrew Tate has the right to say what he wants to say and think what he wants to say and think. Now, of course, people have also the right to follow him, to bash him, to say that what he says is stupid, or to praise him. This is what democracy is. It's the right to express yourself. It's the freedom of liberty, the freedom of expression, the liberty of expression, the liberty to express yourself however you want. Now, in my opinion, this TV show was a bit left-leaning. It's a bit extreme. Like, what the TV show says is that a little kid killed the little girl because the little girl was cyberbullying him and calling him an incel. And now they were saying that Andrew Tate is like the king of the incels, and that his influence and his way of thinking will negatively influence the youth in Western societies. In my opinion, there's more good to what Andrew Tate says than bad. I mean, when he talks about being the best version of yourself, that's really good. Go to the gym, that's really good. Be healthy, learn how to fight, go make money, face your fears, take on the world, be a competitive individual, be a very good, competent individual. That's what mostly he preaches. So most of what he says is good for young students. I mean, it's better for a young guy to go to the gym than for him to not go to the gym, right? It's better for a man to make money than to not make money. It's better for a man to be able to fight than to not be able to fight. It's better for a man to be competent and smart and well-read and knowledgeable than for him to not be well-read and not be knowledgeable regarding society and not make a lot of money, right? It's better for a man to go out in the world, face his fears, face his problems like a man, and never give up. That's what 80% of Andrew Tate's message is, right? So that's why I feel like there's more good than negative regarding Andrew Tate's influence. But now, this is my opinion. Many people disagree. Like I said, in my feminism class, everyone disagrees with my take. Everyone. When I said my take, no one agreed. They all felt like Andrew Tate was the devil and that he's he only portrays toxic masculinity, in my opinion. Maybe I don't really, like I said, I don't really follow Andrew Tate like a fanboy. I don't really care for him. But when I watch his stuff, when they pull up on my feed, on my algorithm, I feel like there's more good to his messages than bad regarding Andrew Tate. So this TV show, I mean, if I would give it a rating, I mean, 6 out of 10, it's not that good. A bit woke, a bit boring at times. And there's like 4 episodes. And in the first episode, they immediately tell you that the little kid did kill him. So it takes away all the suspense. And then the other 3 episodes, it's more for why did he do it, social norms, how the kid views masculinity and how he views life, and what's his perception on his dad, who is like the first masculine influence in his life, like mostly for all of us who did grow up with a dad. Our dad is like our first influence on what is masculinity, and his like our main influence throughout our young age, throughout our teens and early adulthood. So the TV show is more like a sociological analysis of today's society, of young men in Great Britain with Andrew Tate's influence, toxic masculinity, social media. Also, social media plays a big part in adolescence, which social media also nowadays plays a big part in all of our lives, like it or not. Like I said, in my opinion, I think there's way more pros and cons regarding social media. There are many cons, and some of those cons are very bad and very impactful, negatively impactful amongst youths. But at the end of the day, if I was to make a list of pros and cons regarding social media, I feel like there's going to be way more pros, and the pros will outweigh the cons, in my opinion, regarding social media. So if you guys want to watch out the TV show, watch the TV show out. Watch it, but it's not that good, man. It's like a 6 out of 10. Believe me, I watched many TV shows, many movies, and I know how to rate movies and TV shows, and that's like a solid 6. Like I said, everyone should have the right to express himself, no matter who you are, no matter your degree of education, no matter how smart you are, no matter what your IQ score is. Democracy flourishes so well and is so prosperous because liberty of expression and the freedom to express yourself exists. That's why in America, that's the First Amendment. When all the smartest people in America in 1776, when they got together and they wanted to form a new country, which is known as today as the United States of America, and declared their independence July 4th, 1776, from the British, their first amendment was liberty of expression, freedom of speech, and the freedom to express yourself without having the fear of retaliation. That's what the First Amendment is, and that's why it's their First Amendment, because they know that in democracy, for a state to fully flourish and prosper in a democracy, liberty of expression has to be the most important and has to be the first right and has to be protected at all costs. That's what democracy is. It's liberty of expression. Now, of course, democracy is many other things, but the first one is liberty of expression for all citizens, no matter your age, no matter your gender, your race, your sexual orientation, no matter your social economic background, no matter what your background is, you have the right to express yourself fully in a democratic society. Now, as long as Andrew Tate, whatever he says, as long as it's not illegal, as long as it's not him threatening to kill someone or to fight someone or to hit someone, he should have the right to express himself, even if you don't agree with it, even if you hate him, even if you hate what he portrays, even if you hate what he says, he still has the right to express himself fully. And that's why I love Twitter so much, and that's why I love Elon Musk so much, because he protects that at all costs. In my opinion, why I hate woke people so much. I don't hate them. I don't really hate anyone. But the only problem I have with wokeism is, of course, there's DEI. Also what I hate from wokeness is the lack of meritocracy. In my opinion, meritocracy shall always be number one. You should gain a job, a position because you merit that position or because you merit that job out of competency. Not because of who your dad is or what your background is or what's your race or your ethnicity or your gender, whatever. If you're the best man for that job, you should get that job. And I feel like in wokeism, they put meritocracy to the side, and it's all about diversity, inclusion, equity, whatever, DEI. And that's why I hate that. That's one of the reasons why I don't agree with wokeism. I don't hate wokeism. I don't hate woke people. I don't hate anyone. Like I said, everyone has the right to express themselves, even woke people. But like I said, I also have the right to express myself, and I don't like wokeism. And one of the reasons is because of lack of meritocracy. And also I feel like woke people sometimes, they don't fully understand what liberty of expression is. Liberty of expression gives everyone the right to express himself fully without fear of retaliation. That's what liberty of expression is. That's why I'm happy that I live in democracy, where people with all different types of views on life, views on society, points of view, perceptions regarding all topics, regarding many topics, they still have the right to express themselves. That's why I'm always going to be pro-democracy. And that's why I feel like wokes nowadays, people who are more left-leaning, are more against, and the two reasons why is because that I'm so against wokeism and woke people is, one, lack of meritocracy, and two, the will to wanting to ban some people from having the right to express himself. Like I said, in my opinion, everyone should have the right to express himself unless he says something illegal. If he says something illegal, and we all know what's illegal to say. You cannot say, I'm going to kill someone. You cannot say, I'm going to hit him. You cannot threaten someone. As long as you don't threaten someone, when you talk, you're allowed to express yourself. And here I think I have, of course, this is what freedom of speech, word by word, is. The word by word definition of freedom of speech. And I feel like woke people forgot that what the definition of freedom of speech is. So let me remind them. Freedom of speech, also known as freedom of expression, is the principle that individuals can express their thoughts, opinions, and ideas without fear of retaliation or censorship. And also, a third reason at the top of my head why I hate wokeism and I don't agree with wokeism or woke people, is because they always want to censor the people that they don't agree with. If we all agreed, society would never move forward. And if we all agree, it's because democracy doesn't truly exist. We're all different. All human beings are different. We all have our own way of thinking, our own way of seeing life, of perceiving life, and of perceiving many aspects of life and many fields of life. And that's what makes North America so beautiful, so good, and so prosperous, is because we have so many different opinions and ideas regarding everything. But when woke people try to censor other people, that's where I have a problem. Everyone should have the right to express himself. Censorship should not exist unless he says something illegal. Then, of course, we look at it. Is it illegal? Yes, we censor it. But as long as it's not illegal, censorship should not exist in North America. And then it goes on to say it encompasses the right to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds. While it's a fundamental human right, there are certain limitations to this freedom, particularly when speech violates the rights of others or incites violence or hatred. I also agree with this. Like I said, as long as his speech does not incite violence or hatred. Violence. If someone says, yo, let's all meet up and go beat up someone, that's illegal. That's not freedom of expression. That's inciting violence and hatred. So that, like I said, that should be illegal and that should be censored, because that is not what freedom of expression is. Freedom of expression is saying that, in my opinion, we should be more conservative with our economy. In my opinion, we should be more liberal and more helpful with our economy and help more other countries. We shouldn't help more countries with our money. We should put Canada first and then see if we can help other people. No, you know what? We should help everyone equally. Two sides disagreeing. That's what democracy is. Then they state their facts. They state their facts. They express their opinions. This side express their opinions. Then they debate. And then, of course, if it goes to voting, whatever, at the end of the day, democracy is 50% plus one, and then they win. Even if you don't agree with it, I voted conservative. We lost. We didn't win. Hey, that's what it is. More people voted liberal. I'm happy that we all have the right to vote, and I'm happy that many people went to vote. I voted conservative. We lost. That's what it is. I did my democratic duty. I went and I voted. I did my citizen duty. I voted. That's the most I can do. Now, of course, if I want to influence people through my podcast, I also have the right to influence and to express my thoughts regarding Canadian society. But hey, that's what democracy is. Two sides disagreeing, coming up with facts, coming up with opinions, debating, and then one side wins. Sometimes many sides can win regarding many different topics, but that's what democracy generally is. Without the freedom of expressing yourself and without debate, what's the point of democracy? If there's no debate, if there's no argumentation, there's no point to democracy. So talking about the federal elections in Canada, I want to talk about a little bit about it. So I have a PDF file regarding all the stats and facts of this 2025 Canadian federal elections. Of course, I voted conservative. I voted for Pierre Poilievre. We lost. The Liberal Party is still the main party in Canada. They won, but it's a minority government. It's not a majority government. So the election date was April. So this is like a national general overview of the 2025 federal elections. Total seats, 343. The majority threshold is 172 seats. For a party to be majority, they have to have 172 seats out of the 343. The voter turnout for this election was 68.7%. So in other words, registered voters, it's 28.5 million people went and voted in Canada for the 2025 elections. So the total seats is 343. Yeah, I talked about that. So let's talk about the results. Liberal Party with their leader, who is Mark Carney, he won 169 seats. So behind. So if he won 3 more seats, he would have had a majority government. But since he won 169 out of a possible 343, it's not 172. It's a minority government. Out of the popular vote, the Liberal Party got 8.5 million in general, around 8.5, which is 43.8% of the voter share. The Conservative Party, under the leader Pierre Poilievre, have won 143 seats, which equals to 8.1 million of the popular vote, which is 41.3% of the voter share. Very similar for the Liberal Party and Conservative Party, very tight in terms of numbers. The Bloc Québécois under Yves-François Blanchet is third. He won 23 seats with 1.2 million popular vote, 1.3 million citizens who voted for him, which equals 6.3% of the voter share. Then after the Bloc Québécois, it's the NDP, the New Democratic Party under Jagmeet Singh. I think now he's stepping down as the main leader of the NDP party. He won 7 seats. He has 1.2 million voters, which equals 6.3% also of the voter share. Then after that, we have the Green Party, which is by May and Pedneau. They won 1 seat, and which equals 238,000 votes, 1.2% of the voter share. And then other parties like the PPC and other parties, no data on them. They have no seats, 0 seats. So no data on them. Regional highlights. So Ontario Liberals secured 70 seats with 49.6% of the vote. This didn't really surprise me. I was pretty sure that Ontario was going to end up Liberal. This surprised me though. I live in Gatineau in Quebec. And even in Quebec, Liberals won 43 seats, which is 43% of the general vote. And then second coming in, Bloc Québécois with 23 seats. Of course, most people who vote for the Bloc Québécois are people from Quebec, which makes sense. But in my opinion, I don't know why, but I thought Quebec was going to be... No, you know what? I thought it's going to be really tight between the Liberal Party in Quebec and the Conservative Party. I was pretty sure, but I thought that it was going to be more conservative than Liberal in Quebec, but I was wrong. Alberta, of course, conservative, as you guys know. Conservatives dominated with 34 seats and 64.8% of the vote in Alberta. In British Columbia, Liberals and Conservatives closely matched with 20 and 19 seats, respectively. So in British Columbia, Liberals won the most seats, which is 20, and then Conservatives came in second with 19 seats. Now in the Atlantic Canada, Liberals won the majority of seats. In the territories, Liberals won Yukon and Northwest Territories, while the NDP retained Nunavut. In Ontario, Liberals won 70 seats with strong support in the Greater Toronto area. Makes sense. And Quebec, Bloc Québécois regained strength in rural areas but lost ground to Liberals in Montreal. Of course, all the major cities and all the major provinces and all provinces are always going to be liberal. It's always like that. In Alberta, Conservatives retained dominance, but Liberals made minor inroads in Calgary. British Columbia, a highly competitive race between Liberals and Conservatives, with NDP losing significant ground in British Columbia. Atlantic Canada, Liberals swept most riding, securing support with promises of increased healthcare funding. And in the territories of Canada, the Liberals retained Yukon and the Northwest Territories, while the NDP held Nunavut. Well, we already talked about that. Leader outcomes. Mark Carney, elected in Ottawa Centre, celebrated for stabilizing the Liberal base and attracting modern voters. Pierre Poilievre, who is Conservative, leader of the Conservatives, he lost his seat in Carleton. I was very surprised that even for his seat in Carleton, he lost. Very surprising. A major upset for the sparked internal party debates, of course. Jagmeet Singh, leader of the NDP party, lost in Burnaby South. Reflecting the NDP's sharp national decline, Yves-François Blanchet, leader of the Bloc Québécois party, held his seat and solidified the Bloc's regional influence. And Elizabeth May of the Green Party re-elected, while co-leader Jonathan Pedneau did not secure a seat. Key takeaways of this federal election in 2025 in Canada. The Liberal Party under Mark Carney achieved a minority government with 169 seats. Conservative Party increased its seat count but fell short of forming government. The NDP lost official party status for the first time since 1993. I think this is why Jagmeet Singh is stepping down. In 2025, the Canadian federal election results. U.S. President Trump's trade policies may have influenced Canadian voter sentiment. I feel like if Trump would have never put his tariffs or talked about putting tariffs on Canada, or even if Trump never would have said that Canada could become America's 51st state, I think that Pierre Poilievre would have won by a landslide. But I think that Pierre Poilievre lost and the Conservatives lost because of Trump's comments regarding Canada becoming America's 51st state and regarding putting tariffs on Canada, whatever. I think that's not mainly why Mark Carney won, but I think that solidified Mark Carney winning, because after Trump said that, there was a major shift and the Liberals took the lead. And after Trump said that, I was pretty sure in my mind, I was convicted, not 100%, that's why I still voted, but I was pretty convicted that Mark Carney and the Liberals were going to win. I'm happy that it's a minority government. And in my opinion, they're not going to last long, maybe 2 years, 3 at the most. I think there's going to be a re-election and that this time Conservatives are going to win and by even more a landslide, because I feel like people are going to be even more tired of the Liberals. At least it's not Justin Trudeau. At least it's a different leader. But still, I feel like in general, people are going to be tired. And in 2-3 years, there's not going to be any more talks of Canada becoming the 51st state. Even now in mid-May of 2025, there's not really any talks of Canada becoming the 51st state. We all know it's never going to happen. Even though in Canada, I'm pretty sure some people would like for it to happen, but it's like maybe 10% of the population. The other 90% of the population want to remain independent, want to remain its own country, and want to remain Canada. After all of this and also Trump's tariffs on Canada, once all this calms down, I feel like the Conservatives are going to come back and they're going to have a way bigger lead and that they're going to win and they're going to be a majority government and they're going to stay there for many years to come. Those are my predictions. Maybe I'm wrong, but hey, we're going to see. What else can I say about this federal election? Yeah, the NDP's future is uncertain. Like I said, Jagmeet Singh stepping down. We're going to see what's going to happen. I feel like the guy who's going to be the main guy for the NDP, the new guy, whoever it is, or new woman, new girl, or new they, them, whatever they want to identify as. I feel like in the beginning, it's gonna be like they're gonna be so popular. They're gonna be very trending, and they're gonna be like the new face of Canadian politics because they're gonna be the new leader of the NDP party. But still, they're never gonna win, in my opinion. I think they're too left-leaning. The NDP party, they're too liberal. They're too not far left, but they're way too left-leaning. And my prediction, like I said, I think the Conservative Party is gonna win in the upcoming election, which is gonna happen in 2-3 years at the most, I think. And that they're going to be a majority government. They're going to form a majority government. And then it's going to be for many, many years, just like Justin Trudeau was leader for 10 years with the Liberal Party. So what else can I talk about the federal elections? Pretty much it. Okay, so let's jump onto other things. This is another prediction I will make. I think that one day, all of the Western world, so West Europe and North America, they're all going to be right-winged. Because I feel like for the past many decades, it's always been more left-leaning. Of course, in America, conservatives have won many times. But in America, it's way more right-leaning and way more conservative than Canada or Western Europe. But I feel like when it comes to politics and social trends, America is always a couple of years in front of Europe and Canada. Because what America does in the following years, Europe always seems to follow its lead, and Canada also. So America right now, as you guys know, Trump is the president. It's the Republican Party, which equals to the Conservative Party in Canada. Right now, it's Republican, it's conservative. But in Europe, there's still many liberals leading in Europe and Western Europe. And in Canada, of course, it's still the Liberal Party. But I feel like my prediction is that in upcoming years, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, we're going to be alive, hopefully, knock on wood, we're going to be alive to see it. All of the Western world is going to be right-winged. And I mean, is it for the good? I don't know, but I feel like the pendulum is going to swing back and that people are going to be sick and tired of this woke agenda and of this mass immigration and many other things that the left portray and that they practice. And I feel like it's going to be way more right-wing than it is right now in the Western world. Okay, so I know now with social media, so as a sociologist, what I saw is sometimes some people don't want to say something to your face, and then when they're not around you anymore, they text you what they wanted to say, but what they could have said to your face, then they just go home and they text it to you. I mean, I understand maybe you're shy or maybe whatever, but broski, I mean, if you don't have the balls to say it to my face, don't go home after and then text it to me. I mean, bro, you can. I mean, you literally can do it. But in my head, I'm going to be like, bro, I was there in front of you. You should have just said it to my face. So whatever it was, I mean, I'm not I'm using me as an example, but I'm not a violent person. Many people aren't. Just say it to their face. Whatever you have to say it to their face. Maybe they're not going to love it, but they're going to respect you way more than if you go home and you text it to him. I know some of my friends, when we went out, and one of my friends, he sees a girl that he likes. Of course, approaching a girl takes balls and it takes confidence. Of course, even for me, for whoever, no matter who you are, approaching a girl, cold approaching a girl is always going to be scary, always. But at the end of the day, you just do it, man. And if you take an L, you take an L. I mean, you move on with life. You keep pushing on. You keep trying new things. You keep approaching new girls, and you never stop. But it goes for the same aspect. I mean, don't be afraid to approach a girl. And then when you get home, after the girl was there literally for 2 hours in front of you, and then you get home, and then you find her IG because you know someone who knows her, then you follow her, and then you text her. I mean, broski, even the girl is going to be way more, she's going to see you more like a higher status man, whatever, if you have the balls to approach her. Women love confident men. Of course, we all love confident men. It's like one of the main pros that a man can have is to be confident. That's like one of the main things. And if you have the balls to approach a woman, there's way more chances of her respecting you, which means also of her loving you and of her giving you a shot for you to end up with her. So, but also, like I said at the beginning, if you don't have the balls to say to my face, man, Don't create fake accounts and then write comments. I mean, you can do it, but I'm just going to find it funny and I'm not going to respect you because you don't have the balls to say it to my face. I'm not just me. I'm using me as an example just for the sake of it. But for anyone, if you don't have the balls to say it to his face, don't say it. Don't go then on comments and write something or send him a DM, or even worse. What's even worse than that is creating a fake account so we don't know who you are and then writing hateful comments or sending hateful DMs or whatever. That's even worse, man. At least if you don't have the balls to say it face to face in human time, in real life, at least it's still pussy, but at least use your account so we know who you are, what you look like, and whatever. But at least use your account with your name and your face. At least have the decency, the self-respect to use your own account to say what you have to say. Of course, number one is saying it to your face, saying it to someone's face in real life, in real time, face to face in real life. And then after that, okay, you don't want to say it to his face, I understand. But at least use your own account with your name and your face. Don't go, like, the worst thing you can do is create a fake account to hate on someone and to bash someone through DMs or through comments. That's, I mean, man to man, that's very fucking pussy, bro. That's really pussy, bro. Okay, so recently I watched, as you guys know, Logan Paul has a podcast, Impulsive. And on his podcast, he brought Phantom. Phantom, who is a streamer and also a YouTuber. He's part of the group AMP, which also has Kai Cenat, Duke Dennis, and other people, but I forgot their names, whatever it is. But he's part of AMP. And as you guys know, AMP recently are very famous, very trending, and very popular. They're all streamers, right? And YouTubers also, you can consider them, I guess. And then Logan Paul asked him a question, and he spoke through experience. As you guys know, Logan Paul has been famous now for like 15 years through YouTube vlogs, podcasting, whatever he did. And he asked Phantom, and he said, what do you think about if it never works out, your AMP group? Because he knows that amongst content creators, of course, we all have egos. They all have egos. And he knows that sometimes it cannot work. And then Phantom, through his expression and through me looking at him, I saw that he found that question funny. And then when I looked at Logan Paul, he was serious because he knows, because he's been in that game for so many years. He's seen so many things happen. He's a bit older than all of them, but he's been more in that game than all of them, and he's been more famous for a longer time than all of them. So he knows what he's talking about. And recently I saw that Phantom got kicked out, or someone saying that he didn't get kicked out of AMP. I don't know. But what Logan Paul said regarding that is because as human beings, even your brother, I mean, you should trust your brother, but even your brother can end up backstabbing you. So if your brother can do that, just imagine what your friends can do to you. That's why always be cautious. I mean, it's always good to have friends. I have 2-3 friends that I consider like my brothers. And of course, I have Luca. And my experience, and if I can speak about me and my relationship with Luca, there's never been any backstabbing. And in my opinion, if I go through rational thinking and logical thinking, there's never, ever going to be any backstabbing. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself. But if I go through rational thinking and through past experiences, it's never going to happen. That's why I feel so blessed and so lucky to have Luca as a brother and as an older brother. I feel like I'm very lucky because I know many of my friends who do have brothers, and between each other, they backstab, they lie, they betray each other. And in my head, when I see that happen, I cannot believe it because already we're living in a world full of backstabbing of whatever. If you can't trust your own brother, your blood brother, by blood, same mom, same dad, you guys grew up together. If you can't trust him, who can you trust? Like I said, I have 2-3 friends that through past experiences and through rational thinking and logical thinking, I come to the conclusion that I can trust them as a brother because of all those rational thinking that I did and past experiences. But maybe one day he'll end up backstabbing me or betraying me, whatever. But at the end of the day, in my head, how I see it is I'll always have Luca. Always have Luca, my older brother. And that's why I feel so blessed and so lucky. In the beginning, when I was younger, I thought it was normal. I thought that old brothers were like me and Luca, like, you know what, we're a team for all our life. We're always gonna bond. We're always gonna help each other. We're always gonna be whatever. But by living life for now 24 years and by meeting people who also have brothers, and when I see two brothers backstabbing each other, betraying each other, I mean, I cannot believe it. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I guess it is what it is, but man, it's, in my opinion, it's sad. It's very sad to see. And that's why I feel so blessed. In the beginning, I wasn't so thankful and so grateful that I had Luca, because I thought that everyone who has a brother has the same relationship that I have with Luca. But now, for the past 10 years, I realized that even blood brothers can end up betraying each other. And that's why right now I'm so grateful and so thankful to have Luca as a brother. And I feel like as men, some of us aren't lucky to be born with a brother, or to be born with a brother who is close in age, like me and Luca. Luca is 3 to 4 years older than me. It's not that much, especially now in our 20s. We see each other as equal peers. Maybe when he was 17 and I was 13, 14, he didn't see me as his equal peer, and I didn't see him as my equal peer. But now I'm 24, he's 28. We see each other as equals. And that's why right now we never betrayed each other. We're never going to betray each other. Knock on wood, it's not going to happen. But I saw so many brothers who stopped talking to each other because one did such a heinous act to another one. Imagine not even being able to talk to your brother. I mean, if you can't talk to your brother about all sorts of things, who can you talk to about all sorts of things then? I mean, I can talk with Luca regarding anything. I can ask him anything. I can ask him any question. I can tell him anything. I can tell him any secret. I know he's not going to share it with other people if I tell him to not share it with other people. But I'm so grateful and so blessed to have Luca as a brother. So let's take a little water break, man. I'm fucking. Okay, so guys, this is also if I might add, this is also one thing that I have against far leftists and woke people. I don't know why they love tearing down statues of American heroes. Christopher Columbus, was he perfect? No. Is any human being perfect? No. Does he have flaws? Probably. I mean, I didn't really, I mean, in that time and day, there wasn't like podcasts or whatever, so we don't really know how he taught or whatever. But looking at his actions, there are some bad things that he did. There are also some good things, but he did way more good things. And at the end of the day, he's a human being. He's not perfect. No one is. At the end of the day, he's an American hero. I don't know why woke people want to tear down statues like his statues or some other statues. That's one thing that I hate of far leftists, not of liberals. I consider myself a classical liberal, a normal liberal. But in this day and age, I voted conservative because I feel like we went too much to the left, and I feel like we have to bring it more to the center. That's why I voted conservative, which is more right-winged. But in general, by default, by nature, I'm a liberal. And that's one thing that I hate. I hate when people are trying to tear down statues of American heroes or Canadian heroes because they are heroes. Like, let's say in Ottawa, we have a statue of Terry Fox. Now, if I was to dive deeper into his life and his background, I'm going to find some things that he did that I don't agree with and that many people wouldn't agree with. I would find many things that he did that weren't good. But at the end of the day, he's a Canadian hero. And no one should be allowed to take down Terry Fox's statue in Ottawa. I think there's 2 statues of him in downtown Ottawa. If someone wanted to take down his statue, I would be pissed. Because at the end of the day, even though he's a human being, which means that he's imperfect, he's not perfect. He did some bad things. Now, how many bad things? I don't know, but he did bad things because he's a human being. At the end of the day, he's a Canadian hero. And recently, guys, I don't know if there's some people who didn't see it. There's a new statue in Times Square, which is this. This is a new statue that they put up in New York City, in the state of New York, in the country of United States, in Times Square. This is the statue they put. This statue isn't anyone in particular. It's just a out of shape black woman. It's just an out of shape black woman. Even the creator said that it doesn't represent anyone. It doesn't represent a black American hero or anything. It's just a overweight black woman. I just want to ask one question. Why would we put a statue, not me, I didn't put it, but why would they put a statue of a random black overweight woman in the middle of Times Square? To have a statue, you have to be someone who accomplished a lot, a very competent individual. In other words, you have to be a hero to have a statue. So in my opinion, if you want, first of all, I have nothing against putting a statue of an overweight person. There's many people who are overweight, who accomplished a lot, and who are considered as heroes or very competent individuals. You can be overweight and be very competent. Donald Trump or whoever. That's not the problem that I have. The problem that I have is, first of all, this woman represents no one, so it's not an American hero, it's just a random lady. So now we're going based out of her looks. Overweight, I mean, I have nothing against overweight people. Many people in my family are overweight. I mean, many people in my entourage are overweight. I have nothing against it. But deep down, we all know that it's not the healthiest outcome for a human being, right? I mean, it's way more healthier for a human being to be in shape than out of shape. So if you want to praise someone who's out of shape, I mean, we can praise him regarding many other aspects in his life if he's very competent and accomplished in other aspects. But when it comes to being in shape, he's not accomplished there. So for this statue, I mean, if you want to put a statue, because I know there's way more statues of white men, if you want to put a statue of a black American, there's a lot of many famous and successful and accomplished black Americans. Why not put a statue of Michael Jordan? I mean, no one loves Michael Jordan more than I do. The guy embodies everything that's good of the human race. Being disciplined, being a hard worker, being competitive, being a winner, never giving up. Michael Jordan encompasses all of that, embodies all of those aspects, which are very good for a human being to have. Why not put a statue of Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan is just someone that came at the top of my head. There's many other black Americans that are very accomplished, very competent, and who are American heroes. Why not put a statue of them? But don't put a statue of a random, overweight black woman, which embodies, if we just look at a statue, because like I said, it doesn't represent anyone. I mean, there's nothing to praise about an overweight woman. There's nothing to praise about. Like I said, if you guys want to put a statue of there's many accomplished black Americans, a lot. I just said Michael Jordan at the top of my head. How about LeBron James? How about many other historical individuals who accomplished a lot and who were very influential in the American society, who are black American? Put a statue of them. I would be happy to see a statue of Michael Jordan in Times Square. I mean, he's probably everyone's hero in some degree, right? He accomplished so much. Arguably, maybe the greatest basketball player of all time. For anyone who knows Michael Jordan, he knows how relentless he was, how hardworking he was, how competitive he was, how much of a winner he was. And that's all many positive aspects that he had regarding something that we should celebrate human beings like Michael Jordan. But don't just put a statue like this. I mean, I feel like this statue was put by a woke person. I mean, who would put a statue like this? I don't know, but in my opinion, it's very, very stupid to put a random statue of an overweight black woman in Times Square. How about a statue of Rosa Parks? That's also someone else, a black woman who accomplished a lot and who was very competent, and in other words, is an American hero. Rosa Parks is an American hero. And if I might add, she's a black American hero. Why not put a 12-feet statue of Rosa Parks in the middle of Times Square? Jackie Robinson, whoever else. These are just people who are coming at the top of my head. But this random person, this fictional character, overweight, does not deserve a statue. Okay, so I have a PDF file talking. Okay, yeah. So the sculpture was unveiled on April 29th, 2025 at Broadway and the 46th Street. The statue is called Grounded in the Stars. It's a 12-foot tall bronze statue created by British artist Thomas J. Price. The sculpture will be on display in Times Square until June 17th, which is it the holiday now? It's a holiday. June 17th, right? It's when I think George Floyd got killed. So now it's a national holiday. So it's going to be until June 17th. It depicts a confident young black woman in modern clothing, echoing the pose of Michelangelo's David. Oh my God. For people who know the sculpture and the statue of David, in other words, it's Michelangelo's the depiction of a perfect male, like a perfect male body. And it's also David and Goliath. It's the statue of David who went against Goliath and won, and then later on became a king. And as you guys know, the story of David versus Goliath, it's the story of a good young man, a good man who against all odds beats the evil, tall, big man. So it's good. So David versus Goliath is good versus evil. And then at the end of the day, in that story, good wins. Good prospers in that story. And that's why that statue is so historical and so world recognized, so world known, because it depicts the good of humanity and the good aspects of humanity. And also, Michelangelo made him perfect regarding dimensions and beauty, aesthetics. He made him perfect. But this statue, I mean, guys, it's not the perfect female body. I mean, let's not lie. Let's keep it 100. It's a reality check. Let's say how it is. It's not the epiphany of female beauty, that statue. Creation and intent. So Thomas J. Price based the fictional figure on people he observed in London, Los Angeles, and New York. He aims to highlight everyday individuals, especially marginalized bodies, by placing them in a heroic, monumental form. Like I said, not everyone deserves a statue. I don't deserve a statue. Maybe later on in my life, I'll do something worthy of a statue. But so far, Andrei Delic, me, I don't deserve a statue. Why? Because I didn't do something worthwhile or worthy of me having a statue. So him wanting to represent a normal individual does not deserve a statue. If you're a normal individual, I'm a normal individual. We don't deserve statues. We don't deserve a statue in honor of us. People who deserve statues are people who accomplish something so big that it's worthy of a statue. Michael Jordan, Christopher Columbus, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, whoever, political figures, historical figures, Rosa Parks, Jackie Robinson, whatever. Those are people who deserve statues. Nelson Mandela, Gandhi. Now Gandhi, like I said, is debatable because he was a woman beater, whatever. But big people deserve statues. Big people who accomplished a lot that is worthy of a statue. Normal individuals, we don't deserve statues. Now you can get mad at me. You can say that what I'm saying is dumb. At the end of the day, if you're a normal individual and that you didn't accomplish something out of the ordinary or so big that people are in awe of, you don't deserve a statue, man. Let's keep it 100. You don't deserve a statue. Just as much as I don't deserve a statue right now, maybe later on, hey, Jesus, if I do something worthwhile and statuesque, that's worthy of a statue, why not? Shit, I'll take it. But right now, bro, if you're a normal individual, you don't deserve a statue. What else? He hopes it will inspire dialogue around inclusion, public recognition, and what it means to be human. Now, public perception, pretty much similar to mine. Now, it depends who. Some people think that it's a good idea that he puts a random statue of an overweight black woman. They have the right. Like I said, it's a democratic country. We all have the right to express ourselves fully. They have the right to say it, just as much as I have the right to say that that statue should not be up in Times Square and that statue should not exist. Okay, so for my Christians, we have a new pope. He's an American he's from Chicago. And also, so I want to talk a little bit about the conclave, explain to you guys how the conclave works. And then I just want to talk a little bit about the pope. So for people watching my episode, I'll give you more information on how the conclave works and who the pope is, the new pope. So let me pull up. Where is it? Yeah, okay. So the conclave is a swift decision. So all the cardinals get together in the Sistine Chapel, which is in the Vatican City. I visited it, very beautiful. They get together, they lock all doors until they have a decision about who will be the new pope. So when they have a decision of who the new pope will be, they put on white smoke coming out of the chapel so the people know, okay, we have a new pope. But they stay locked in the Sistine Chapel, all of the cardinals, until they have a decision on who will be the new pope. So following the death of Pope Francis on April 21st, 2025, rest in peace, Pope Francis, one of probably the greatest pope of all time, very liberal, very inclusive of gay people, LGBTQ, whatever. He was a very progressive pope, in other words. The College of Cardinals convened a conclave on May 7th. Out of 135 eligible electors, 133 participated. Pope Leo XIV was elected on the fourth ballot by May 8th. The announcement was made from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica by Cardinal Protodeacon Dominique Mamberti, with a traditional proclamation, Habemus Papami. Pope Leo XIV greeted the world with "Peace be with all of you." I quoted him, peace be with all of you. Is it Pope Leo? Yeah, 14. So Leo XIV is a pope of global experience. He's born in Chicago in 1955. 1955, yeah. Cardinal Robert Francis Prévost is a member of the Augustinian order. He served over 2 decades in Peru. He also has a Peruvian passport as he has an American passport. He served in Peru as a missionary and bishop. In 2023, he was appointed as the head of dicastery for bishops, holding dual citizenship for America and for Peruvian citizenship, U.S. and Peruvian citizenship. He brings North and South American perspectives to the papacy. His diverse background and commitment to missionary work are seen as major strengths for global church leadership. This new pope is very similar to the later one, Pope Francis. They're both very liberal and progressive, in other words. The vision he has for the church. In his first address, Pope Leo XIV stressed peace and unity, echoing the tone of Pope Francis. His papal name honors Pope Leo XIII, known for supporting labor rights and social justice. Pope Leo XIV is viewed as a unity figure, expected to maintain traditional church teachings, especially on the ordination of women and LGBTQ plus issues, while also focusing on global outreach and inclusion. Of course, with Catholic, he's the Pope of the Catholics. They always want to have the most followers as possible. So they're trying to get more and more inclusive, so they have more and more followers, which in other words means more and more power and more influence globally. Global reactions. I know many people are pissed that they appointed an American. You know, for people who don't know, if you go around the world, whenever you talk about Americans or you tell someone that you're an American, in general, the entire world hates the Americans because they think that the Americans, first of all, people are always going to hate the main power, the world power, which nowadays it's America. And in general, people, I don't know why, maybe it's because Americans are seen as being arrogant or like boastful and think they're the center of the world and they're the best, the smartest and whatever. That's why I feel like many people hate Americans. And that's why I feel like there's been a lot of backlash for them appointing an American. But at the end of the day, yes, he is American, but if he's the most competent out of all of them, he should be the Pope. I feel like he is the most competent, and I'm very happy that he is. The election has sparked worldwide reaction, some against, some for. I am for. Crowds in St. Peter's Square welcomed the new Pope with enthusiasm. Leaders such as U.S. President Donald Trump extended congratulations. And then, as in Trump-esque way, calling it a great honor for the U.S. observers to see the new Pope's American roots and missionary experience as vital in addressing church decline in the West and strengthening connections with diverse communities around the world. Nowadays, in the Western world, we're way less religious than we were before. In the eastern part of the world, they're way more religious. In Eastern Europe, they are way more Christian and Orthodox than people are Protestant or Catholic in the Western world. So that's why I feel like the Catholic Church are way more inclusive and open-minded and liberal than they were before, because they have realized that if they are not more inclusive and more liberal and progressive, they're going to lose more and more followers. And that's why they are becoming more and more progressive so that they gain followers and not that they lose followers. So that's always good. Further sources, that was pretty much it for the conclave and a new pope. Okay, so now recently, of course, as you guys know, Rockstar is soon gonna unveil GTA 6. They did many trailers regarding GTA 6, and everyone's impatiently waiting for the arrival of GTA 6. Now, me personally, I'm not a gamer. I've been a gamer when I was 14 or 15. I only used to play FIFA and GTA with my friends, but mostly FIFA because I'm a big soccer fan, big football fan. I was a big soccer player, big football player. So I would always play FIFA, especially against my friends because it's fun, it's competitive. Your friend loses, you're happy that you won, whatever. I'm not a big gamer. And until when I reached the age of 16, I stopped completely gaming. So even now, to this day, at the age of 24, I don't game. I don't care for GTA 6. I mean, I look at it because it pull ups on my time, on my timeline on social media. It looks really, really good. It looks really well done. The graphics look crazy, look amazing. The map is very fucking big. When I had GTA 5 Los Santos, I think the name of the map was, name of the city in GTA 5. It was a big map, but not as big as this map will be for GTA 6. The game looks crazy. So I understand why streamers, why gamers are impatiently waiting for the arrival of this game. It looks like an amazing game. And then this is one thing that I'm against Andrew Tate. Sometimes he goes a bit into the extremes, and sometimes I feel like he loses what he wants to say, and sometimes he just looks for clickbait or for content or just to make people react. He started bashing on people who are waiting impatiently for GTA 6. Broski, I mean, playing video games is not that bad. Elon Musk is the richest man on planet Earth. He's way richer than Andrew Tate, way more influential, way more powerful. He's way more accomplished than Andrew Tate. And he's like top 20 in Diablo in the world. He's a top 20 player of Diablo in the world. Diablo is also a video game. I think you play it on PC. I'm not sure. But if Elon Musk has the right to play video games, and if he has the time to do everything that he does, believe me, Elon Musk is one of the most occupied and busy individuals on planet Earth. I mean, he's fucking Elon Musk. You cannot be more accomplished than him, and you cannot get busier than him. And he finds the time to play video games. And not only that, he has so much time to play video games, he's top 20 in the world. So guys, don't give a fuck that Andrew Tate said you're not allowed to play video games and you shouldn't be hyped that GTA 6 is coming. Play video games if you want. You can be a very accomplished individual, a very busy individual, a very competent individual, and still play video games. Personally, I don't. Why? First of all, I'm bad at video games. I was never good at video games. Maybe that's why I find it boring. And second of all, it never really piqued my curiosity. I never really had fun playing video games. The only time I had fun playing video games is when I played FIFA against my friends, and that's more because of the competitive aspect of it, playing against your friend and you want to win against your friend, and also because it's FIFA, it's soccer and it's football, and I love soccer and football. But it never really piqued my curiosity. And when I played Call of Duty when I was younger, I was bad at it. So I stopped. I was never really good. GTA 6, I was never really good at it. I only had fun with my friends because you know what? You can kill him, you can steal his car, and then you can, I don't know, but it was fun. But nowadays, I don't really care about video games, and that's why I don't really care for the arrival of GTA 6. But the video game looks crazy, and I understand why gamers are waiting for it impatiently and why streamers are waiting for it impatiently. Also, I heard Kai Cenat, which is he's probably known as the king of streaming, saying that this new game, GTA 6, will make many, many streamers multimillionaires, very famous that we didn't know of. But this game will allow them to reach riches and fame. So, guys, this is one thing that I disagree with Andrew Tate. If Elon Musk finds the time of day to play video games, and not only to play video games, but to be one of the greatest at the video game that he plays, Diablo, go ahead, play video games, man. Don't be so uptight. Okay, so as you guys know, Andrew Tate's The Real World and Hustlers University. I said it once in my podcast before, he's scamming you guys. Andrew Tate said it many times publicly in podcasts in front of a camera. He said many times that how he made his millions and his riches is by having webcam girls, and then the webcam girls will go in front of the camera, they would act like they're the ones talking to the guy who is behind the computer. But it was actually Andrew Tate who was in the keyboard, him and his brother, and maybe other guys that he formed and show them how to do it. But so in other ways, he was scamming incels, or he was scamming individuals who were easy to scam and who were vulnerable. That's how he made his millions. To this day, he's still the same individual. He's still making his money the same way. People, I don't know why people would sign up to the Andrew Tate's Hustler University. I mean, guys, you don't need that shit. He's just scamming you guys. Andrew Tate is just as much as he was scamming people before, he's still doing it now, but just in a different way. Before he was scamming guys with webcam girls. Maybe he still has his webcam studio. I don't know his life. But nowadays, he's still scamming the same guys with Hustlers Universities, with the real world platform, whatever. But he still makes his money the same way by scamming incels, by scamming incompetent individuals, by scamming vulnerable men. That's how he makes his money. That's how he made his millions the first time, and that's how he makes his millions today and nowadays. Just before he did it with webcam girls, now he does it with Hustlers University and the real world. So guys, please, if you're watching this episode, don't give your money to Hustlers University. If you want to get a real degree, even though I know Andrew Tate says that nowadays university is not good, believe me, going to university and getting a real degree is still very valuable and very good. Do it. I think it's like $40 a month. I went to see it's like $50, $40 a month. That's a lot. He's just taking that money. He's laughing behind his camera. Believe me, he's laughing. Don't do it, guys. Please, I urge you guys. My thoughts on Fuentes. Now, Fuentes, he is a typical racist, a white nationalist. I understand why he was banned from YouTube. First of all, I never really watched his content. I only heard that he was considered like a white nationalist, whatever. So I never really saw his content. From time to time, I would see his clips on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it's not his account. Someone like clipped it from Rumble. Now he's on Rumble because he got banned from YouTube, whatever. So I would see a couple of clips. Now, of course, he's not 100% the devil, but in general, I understand why he got banned, and he should have got banned. He is a real racist, a real white nationalist. He's like really right-wing, a far right-wing individual. Then I went on Rumble to watch his episodes, watch his podcasts, whatever he calls it. He's your typical racist, a real white nationalist who blames Jews for everything, who hates black people, who hates women, who hates whatever. Now that's an individual who should get censored and banned from major platforms because he is actually inciting violence and hatred. That's what he actually does. So those are my thoughts on Fuentes. He's a bit boring. I didn't really watch too much his content. I just watched a little bit to get a little bit of an insight of who he is and how he thinks. But from what I saw, he's a real white nationalist, a real racist. He should get banned from all platforms. Guys, he's a negative influence on society. He should get censored as much as he can. And those are my general thoughts on him. So I just wanted to take this to quickly thank the Russians. Why? A couple of weeks ago, it was Victory Day. I think it's on May 8th, right? It's Victory Day. 80 years ago, thanks to the Russians, not thanks to Americans, not thanks to Canadians, not thanks to Germans, not thanks to the British people, certainly not thanks to the French people. Thanks to the Russians, fascism was never spread globally, and fascism came to an end, and Nazis came to an end. It's because of the Russians. The Russians are the real army who took down the Nazi army. The Red Army took down the Nazis. We should all be thankful to the Russians because they're the ones who put a stop to fascism and to the Nazis. And I just wanted to take them real quick. It was Victory Day a couple of days ago. 80 years ago, the Red Army put a stop to fascism and to the Nazi army, to the Nazi regime. So again, regarding Andrew Tate, recently Andrew Tate fought 60 men. This is a quote I have from Tristan Tate that he put on Twitter. He said, and I quote him, "Andrew fights 60 men in the row, promoting hard work and health. They call him dangerous. Now, of course, like I said, I'm not all against Andrew Tate. I'm not all for Andrew Tate. There are some good things that he portrays. And these are one of those things. He's very healthy. He goes to the gym a lot. He knows how to fight. These are all good aspects for a man to have. So this is something that I praise him. And then he went on to say, some girl has sex with 1,000 men in a row, promoting being a whore. They call her empowering. And then he said, this is the matrix we are fighting to break. And of course, as you guys know, I'm against conspiracy theories. When they talk about the matrix, it's all bullshit. But I understand what he's trying to say right now. Society nowadays, not everyone, but many people are going to promote and praise a girl having sex with 1,000 men and saying that it's empowering, that it's freeing the soul of the woman. It's not empowering. It's not something good it's not something to praise. In other words, she's just a whore. I mean, she's just a girl who opened her legs to 1,000 guys. There's nothing to praise. There's nothing, you don't have to be competent to do that. You just have to be a girl who's willing to do it. That's all. Any girl can do that. Believe me, any girl can do that. So there's nothing empowering there. There's nothing to praise there. But a man being able to fight 60 men in a row, promoting hard work and health, now that's something to praise. I cannot lie. He's a very healthy individual, Andrew Tate. He knows how to fight. He goes to the gym constantly. That's an aspect of him that we should all praise and that needs praising, because that's something really good. Okay, so I have a couple of quotes. How long? 1 hour and 21 minutes. Yeah, I'll do a couple of famous quotes and sayings, analyze them, comment on them, and then we're going to end this reality check. So this is more regarding wisdom and philosophy. It's a quote by René Descartes, who was a famous French philosopher. He said, I think, therefore I am. Sometimes it's as simple as that. If you think that you're him, you're actually him. Because if you think you're him, then your actions are going to be the actions of someone who is him, and they're going to end up being him. Next quote is from Socrates. Socrates, as you guys know, a Greek philosopher. The unexamined life is not worth living. All of us should examine our lives, know where we can become better, where we can improve. So that's why examining our own lives and self-critiquing each other is very good. Ourselves is very good. Self-critiquing ourselves is very good. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A beautiful quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Now, let me get back to the statue thing. Why not a statue of Martin Luther King Jr.? He's an American hero, no doubt about it. Yes, I know there's a Martin Luther King Day, Jr. Day, but if you guys want to put a statue of a Black American, that's a fucking hero. Martin Luther King is a real American hero. He deserves not only a statue, but he deserves many statues. And a 12-foot statue of Martin Luther King in Times Square, I'm all for it. He deserves it. That's an individual who deserves a statue, but not a random overweight Black woman. She doesn't deserve a statue. He deserves a statue. And if I might add, he deserves many statues across all of America because he's one of America's biggest heroes. And then another quote from Mahatma Gandhi: be the change that you wish to see in the world. We all want change. We all talk about change. But at the end of the day, you can only control your own actions. You cannot control the actions of other people. So be the change that you want to see in this world. As simple as that. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. A beautiful quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Always be yourself. Always be authentic. I feel like people who are authentic 100% are the ones who are winning in life. Life's all about being authentic, trying new things, and not caring what other people think. Now, of course, it's rooted in us for many thousands and thousands of years now to care what other people think and to care how society perceives us. But at the end of the day, be who you are, be authentic, and the rest will happen. So let's do a couple more quotes regarding motivation and success. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Beautiful quote from late former Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of Britain, long time ago during World War II. Success is not final. I know a quote Success is not owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. This goes for success. Once you reach success, you have to continue reaching success. It's not like you reach success once and then your life stops. Same goes for failure. Once you meet with failure, it's normal. We all meet with failure. All the people who accomplished a lot met with failure, but it's the willing to never stop. It's the will to continue that will turn you great. So even when you face failure, it's not fatal. Keep going. Don't give up. Let's do another quote by C.S. Lewis. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Let me redo it. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my voice, man. So hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. If you don't go through many hardships, you cannot accomplish a lot. It's by going through many hardships that you become a more competent individual, which equals a more successful individual, and then which also equals to become a more extraordinary individual who accomplishes extraordinary outcomes, which in order also means having an extraordinary destiny. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Quote from Henry Ford. If you think you can do something, you're right. If you think you can't, you're also right. It's all about what you believe. If you believe you can accomplish something, you can accomplish it. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Quote from Steve Jobs. This is true. I always used to say that I'm very lazy. I always consider myself to be a more lazy individual. But now when I think about it, I was more lazy regarding things that I don't like. I don't like going to school, and I don't like studying. So I'm lazy when it comes to that. But I love going to the gym. I love being in shape. I love playing soccer. I love doing podcasts. So when it comes to doing things that I love to do, I'm not lazy. I'm very not lazy when it comes to doing podcasts, going to the gym, or playing soccer, or whatever else I like to do. I'm not lazy. But when it's something that I hate to do, let's say right now I'm a bartender, right? I don't really like it. I don't really hate it. So my motivation is half and half, because that's how I feel about bartending, half and half. Do I love it? Do I hate it? I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's a good student job. It's a good part-time job, and it's a good second job. But when it comes to doing things that I love to do, I'm very passionate about it, and I'm not lazy. But when it's to do things that I hate to do, like studying or whatever, there I'm going to be lazy. So I feel like not only me, but everyone else, you're not lazy. Maybe you just never found your passion. Keep grinding. Keep looking for new passions. And when you find your passion, believe me, even if you considered yourself a lazy individual, it's not because you're lazy, it's just because you never really found something that you love and that you're willing to die for, and that you want to spend your days, the rest of your days and nights to do. It always seems impossible until it's done. Beautiful quote from Nelson Mandela. I know there's also, this is true, I mean, everything always seems impossible depending for who, but in general, we always see things like big things are impossible to accomplish until someone accomplishes it. And then when someone accomplishes it, then we're like, okay, it's possible. But we always wait for someone to do it for us to say it's possible. Because if we go with our rational thinking, many things seem impossible. But when someone does it, an irrational individual, in other words, irrational, sometimes you need a little bit of irrationality in your life to accomplish big things. Someone who is 100% rational will never accomplish big things. You have to have a little bit of insanity and a little bit of irrationality in your mind to accomplish very big things. Like I know there's like this famous thing that happened that before like the 1920s, no one ever ran a mile under 5 minutes. Everyone thought it was impossible until someone did it. When someone finally ran 1 mile under 5 minutes, after that, everyone was doing it. So sometimes it just takes one guy to do it, and then it's possible. Drink some water. Let's maybe do one last quote. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Beautiful quote by William Shakespeare. You know what? Let me finish these 5 quotes regarding love and life. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Beautiful, beautiful quote from John Lennon. In life, it happens to me many times. It happened many times, and it's probably going to happen again in my future. But it's normal for all of us to have plans for our lives. Okay, in the future, I'm going to do this. And then when I finish doing this, then I'm going to do this. When I get my degree, I'm going to get this job, blah, blah. But only God's plan is the plan that truly prevails. So life is what happens in between what we're planning to do. Because at the end of the day, you cannot control outcomes of your life. I mean, you can control some aspects. We all have willpower. But at the end of the day, God's plan is always the main plan. And that's always going to prosper. And like the quote says, let me redo it because I feel like it's such a beautiful quote. And that this quote applies to every single human being because we all have a life. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. We accept the love we think we deserve. Beautiful quote by Stephen Chopsky. Sometimes we deserve more love than we actually think we do, and we're more critical than we should be. That's why we have many people who are depressive, many people who end up killing himself because they think that they don't deserve what they have, or they don't deserve to be happy, or that they don't deserve to be joyful and to be loved or whatever, so they end up killing themselves. It's very sad, but we accept the love we think we deserve. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Beautiful quote from Aristotle. Happiness is a choice. If you choose to be happy right now with what you have, you're going to be happy. You don't need a lot. I mean, there's many famous people who had everything, who had all the money in the world, all the fame, all the status, and they ended up killing themselves, or they ended up being very, very miserable. And then on the other hand, we have people who have no material goods, no fame, no status, no money, and they're some of the most happy and joyful people on planet Earth. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. It's a quote on being, individuality. Be yourself. Don't follow someone else's path. Follow your own path. Trust your own path. Trust the plan that God has for you. And like I said, nothing else is needed. That's gonna be it, guys, for reality check number 14. We're gonna see each other for many other episodes, but that was it. Peace out.